What if I told you that the greatest wall ever built in human history wasn't made of stone, but of ice, magic, and fear? A wall so massive it split an entire world in two. A wall that once kept death itself at bay. This is the untold story of the Wall, the ancient frozen barrier of Game of Thrones, born from blood, myth, and forgotten gods. You're watching Mystic Legacy Vault, where history and legend meet beneath the shadows of time. So, grab your cloak, steel your heart, and let's journey to the far north, beyond the Wall. Long before the Iron Throne, before dragons and kings, the world of Westeros was ruled by darkness. Thousands of years ago, a time came when the sun disappeared for a generation. Crops withered, cities froze, and from the farthest north came the White Walkers, the Others. Beautiful and terrible, with eyes like blue fire and touch like death, they marched with an army of corpses, turning the living into the dead. This era was called the Long Night, a winter that lasted a lifetime. Humanity stood on the edge of extinction. Villages burned, kingdoms fell, and every dawn was a miracle. But then came a legend, a man remembered only as Brandon the Builder. Some say he was guided by the old gods, others that the children of the forest showed him the secrets of ice and magic. What we know is this. From the ruins of the Long Night, he rose to build something that would change the fate of mankind forever. No man alive could imagine the scale of what Brandon built. The wall stretched 700 feet high and 300 miles long, an endless curtain of frozen blue. It was not just carved ice, but compacted layers of snow, frozen water, stone, and time itself. The legends claim that giants helped raise the first slabs of ice, moving them like mountains. And the children of the forest, those ancient mysterious beings, wove spells of protection within its heart. Their magic sealed the wall, preventing the undead and the White Walkers from ever crossing south again. In every story, there's truth and myth intertwined. Some maesters believe the wall was simply human engineering, a monumental fortification of frozen rivers, but others whisper that the wall breathes with ancient sorcery, that the cold in it is not of nature, but of purpose. Brandon the Builder's name passed into legend. He became the first great hero of House Stark, and the wall became the greatest monument ever made by mortal hands. Yet a wall, no matter how mighty, is useless without guardians. To watch over it, Brandon and his allies founded the Night's Watch, a brotherhood unlike any other. Men who took an oath of silence, celibacy, and duty. I am the sword in the darkness. I am the watcher on the walls. I am the shield that guards the realms of men. They were soldiers, thieves, noblemen, and bastards, all equal in the face of the frozen north. The Night's Watch built 3 great fortresses, Castle Black, Eastwatch by the Sea, and the Shadow Tower. At its height, 10,000 men guarded the wall. Torches burned through the long night. Ravens carried word to the south. But as centuries passed, the memory of the long night faded. The watch became a relic. Kings forgot why the wall was built, and while men fought for thrones and crowns, the true enemy, death, waited patiently beyond the cold horizon. The wall was more than ice and stone. It was a barrier of magic. The ancient wards woven into its core prevented the dead from passing, not by strength, but by will. The same enchantments that shielded the old gods' weirwoods now pulsed through the wall itself. When the first White Walker fell, their magic recoiled. When the dead approached, the wall hummed with resistance. But time weakens everything. Centuries of neglect, disbelief, and human arrogance began to drain the wall's strength. As the realms below forgot their oaths, the magic that held the darkness at bay began to fade. And beyond the Frostfang Mountains, the others were stirring again. The first sightings of blue-eyed wights reawakened old fears. The myths that once seemed like fairy tales became prophecy. The wall, for all its glory, had become a sleeping giant, and something ancient was waking it up. For 8,000 years, the wall stood unbroken, but everything that has a beginning must one day end. When the Night King, the leader of the White Walkers, returned, he did not come alone. He brought with him an undead dragon, Viserion, breathing blue flame hotter than any mortal fire. In a single night of fury, the wall's northern edge was shattered into ruin, and Eastwatch by the sea collapsed into ruin, and the dead poured through. The very magic that had stood for millennia screamed and vanished in an instant. The last great barrier of man had fallen. The wall's destruction wasn't just physical, it was symbolic. It marked the death of complacency, the end of humanity's illusion of safety. The wall was never just meant to protect, it was meant to remind. And in its fall, that reminder returned with a vengeance. The wall's story mirrors the story of Westeros itself, built by unity, destroyed by division. Brandon the Builder united men, giants, and children of the forest. But centuries later, kings couldn't unite even against death itself. The wall fell not because it was weak, but because mankind had forgotten why it was strong. Every brick of ice, every watchtower, every frozen stone stood for sacrifice and duty. But those who inherited it chose comfort over vigilance. Yet even after its fall, the wall remains a symbol of courage, of forgotten history, of the fragile line between the living and the dead. Its ruins whisper a warning. The darkness always returns, and only those who stand together can hold it back. The wall may have fallen, but its legend will never fade. It reminds us that humanity's greatest strength lies not in castles or crowns, but in unity and courage. From Brandon the Builder to Jon Snow, every watcher who stood on those icy battlements carried one purpose: to guard the realms of men, no matter the cost. Thank you for watching Mystic Legacy Vault, where history, myth, and mystery are reborn through time. If you were captivated by the story of the wall, hit subscribe, ring the bell icon, and join us as we uncover more secrets from the shadows of Westeros and beyond. Because here, at Mystic Legacy Vault, we don't just tell stories, we unearth legacies.